Chapter 14. Moderation in Worship. Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, reported, "The Prophet came in when a woman was sitting beside me. He asked me, 'Who is she?' I said, 'She is the one whose performance of salat, prayer, has become the talk of the town.' Addressing her, he said, 'What is this? You are required to take upon yourselves only what you can carry out easily. By Allah, Allah does not withhold His mercy and forgiveness of you until you neglect and give up good works. Allah likes the deeds best which a worshipper can carry out constantly." Al-Bukhari and Muslim. Anas, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, 3 men came to the houses of the wives of the Prophet to inquire about the worship of the Prophet. When they were informed, they considered their worship insignificant and said, "Where are we in comparison with the Prophet, while Allah has forgiven his past sins and future sins?" One of them said, "As for me, I shall offer salat all night long." Another said, "I shall observe psalm, fasting, continuously, and shall not break it." Another said, "I shall abstain from women and shall never marry." The Prophet came to them and said, "Are you the people who said such and such things? By Allah, I fear Allah more than you do, and I am most obedient and dutiful among you to Him. But still, I observe fast and break it, perform salat, and sleep at night, and take wives. So whoever turns away from my Sunnah does not belong to me." Al-Bukhari and Muslim. Ibn Masud, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, "The Prophet said, 'Ruined are those who insist on hardship in matters of the faith.'" He repeated this 3 times. Muslim. Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, "The Prophet said, 'The religion of Islam is easy, and whoever makes the religion a rigor, it will overpower him. So, follow a middle course in worship. If you can't do this, do something near to it, and give glad tidings and seek help of Allah at morn and at dusk and some part of night." Al-Bukhari. Anas, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, "The Prophet came into the mosque and noticed a rope stretched between 2 poles. He inquired, 'What is this rope for?' He was told, 'This is Zainab's rope. When during her voluntary prayer she begins to feel tired, she grasps it for support.' The Prophet said, 'Untie it. You should perform prayers so long as you feel active. When you feel tired, you should go to sleep." Al-Bukhari and Muslim. Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, reported, "Messenger of Allah said, 'When one of you feels drowsy during prayer, let him lie down till drowsiness goes away from him, because when one of you performs prayers while feeling sleepy, he does not know whether he seeks forgiveness or abuses himself.'" Al-Bukhari and Muslim. Jaber bin Samura, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, I used to perform prayer with the Prophet, and his salat was of a moderate length, and his khutbah too was moderate in length. Muslim. Abu Juhayfa, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, the Prophet made a bond of brotherhood between Salman and Abu Darda. Salman paid a visit to Abu Darda and found Darda, his wife, dressed in shabby clothes, and asked her why she was in that state. She replied, "Your brother, Abu Darda, is not interested in the luxuries of this world." In the meantime, Abu Darda came in and prepared a meal for Salman. Salman requested Abu Darda to eat with him, but Abu Darda said, "I am fasting." Salman said, "I am not going to eat unless you eat." So Abu Darda ate with Salman when it was night, and a part of the night passed. Abu Darda got up to offer the night prayer, but Salman asked him to sleep, and Abu Darda slept. After some time, Abu Darda again got up, but Salman asked him to sleep. When it was the last hours of the night, Salman asked him to get up, and both of them offered tahajjud, prayer. Then Salman told Abu Darda, "You owe a duty to your Rabb. You owe a duty to your body. You owe a duty to your family. So you should give to every one his due." Abu Darda came to the Prophet and reported the whole story. Prophet said, "Salman is right." Al-Bukhari. Abdullah bin Amr bin al-As, may Allah be pleased with them, reported, the Prophet, Sam, was informed that I said that I would perform prayers the whole night and observe fasting every day as long as I live. Messenger of Allah said, "Is it you who said this?" I said to him, "O Messenger of Allah, I ransom you with my parents. It is I who said that." Messenger of Allah said, "You will not be able to do that. Observe fast and break it. Sleep and get up for prayer, and observe fasts for 3 days during the month. For every good is multiplied 10 times, and that will be equal to fasting the whole year." I said, "O Messenger of Allah, I can do more than that." He said, "Observe fast 1 day and leave off the next 2 days." I said, "O Messenger of Allah, I have strength to do more than that." Messenger of Allah said, "Observe fast every other day, and that is the fasting of Dawood, and that is the most moderate fasting." According to another narration, Messenger of Allah said, "That is the best fasting." I said, "But I am capable of doing more than this." Thereupon, Messenger of Allah said, "There is nothing better than this." Abdullah bin Amr, may Allah be pleased with them, said, "When he grew old, had I accepted the 3 days fasting during every month, as the Messenger of Allah had said, it would have been dearer to me than my family and my property." In another narration, Abdallah is reported to have said, "Messenger of Allah said to me, O Abdallah, have I not been informed that you observe fast during the day and offer prayer all the night?" I replied, "Yes, O Messenger of Allah." Messenger of Allah said, "Don't do that. Observe fast for few days and then leave off for few days. Perform prayers and also sleep at night, as your body has a right upon you, and your eyes have a right upon you, and your wife has a right upon you. Your visitors have a right upon you. It is sufficient for you to observe fast 3 days in a month, as the reward of good deeds is multiplied 10 times. So it will be like fasting the whole year." I insisted on fasting, and so I was given a hard instruction. I said, "O Messenger of Allah, I have strength." Messenger of Allah said, "Observe fast like the fasting of Prophet Dawood, salam, and do not fast more than that." I said, "How was the fasting of Prophet Dawood?" He said, "Half of the year, i.e., he used to fast on every alternate day." Afterwards, when Abdullah, may Allah be pleased with him, grew old, he used to say, "Would that I had availed myself of the concession granted to me by Messenger of Allah." In another narration, Abdullah is reported to have said, "Messenger of Allah said, I have been informed that you observe fast continuously and recite the whole of the Quran every night." I said, "Messenger of Allah, it is right, but I covet thereby nothing but good." Whereupon he said, "Then observe fasts, like the fasting of Prophet Dawood, as he was the most ardent worshipper of Allah. Recite the Quran once every month." I said, "O Prophet of Allah, I am capable of doing more than that." He said, "Then recite it, the complete Quran, in every 20 days. I said, "O Prophet of Allah, I am capable of reciting more than that." He said, "Then recite it once in every 10 days. I said, "O Prophet of Allah, I am capable of reciting more than that." He said, "Then recite it once in every 7 days, but not recite more than that." The Prophet of Allah also said to me, "You do not know. You may have a longer life." When I grew old, I wished I had availed myself of the concession granted to me by the Prophet of Allah. In another narration, Abdullah is reported to have said, "Messenger of Allah said, the best fasting with Allah is that of Prophet Dawood, and the best prayer with Allah is that of Dawood, for he would sleep half of the night and stand for prayer for the third of it, and then would sleep 6th part of it. He observed fast one day and leave off the other. He would not flee on meeting the enemy." In another narration, Abdullah is reported to have said, "My father helped me marry a noblewoman, and he used to inquire of his daughter-in-law regarding her husband. She would say, 'He is, indeed, a fine man. Since I have come to him, he has neither stepped on my bed, nor he has had sexual intercourse with me.' When this state of affairs lasted for some time, my father mentioned the matter to Messenger of Allah, who directed my father, saying, "Send him to me." I went to him accordingly. He asked me, "How often do you observe fast?" I replied, "Daily." He asked me, "How long do you take in reading the noble Quran completely?" I said, "Once every night." Then he narrated the whole story. He, in his old age, would recite 1/7 of his nightly recitation to some members of his family during the day, to lighten his task at night. Whenever he wished to have a relief from his fast on alternate days, he would give up fasting for a few days and make up deficiency later by observing the number of fasts he had missed. He would not give up the number of fasts altogether, because he did not like to abandon what he had settled with Messenger of Allah. Hanzala al-Usaidi, may Allah be pleased with him, who was one of the scribes, a Messenger of Allah, reported, "I met Abu Bakr, may Allah be pleased with him. He said, 'How are you, O Hanzala?' I said, 'Hanzala has become a hypocrite.' He said, 'Far removed is Allah from every imperfection. What are you saying?' I said, 'When we are in the company of Messenger of Allah, and he reminds us of hell-fire and Jannah, we feel as if we are seeing them with our very eyes. And when we are away from Messenger of Allah, we attend to our wives, our children, our business, most of these things pertaining to life hereafter slip out of our minds." Abu Bakr, may Allah be pleased with him, said, "By Allah, I also experienced the same thing." So, Abu Bakr, may Allah be pleased with him, and I went to Messenger of Allah, and I said to him, "O Messenger of Allah, Hanzala has turned hypocrite." Thereupon, Messenger of Allah said, "What has happened to you?" I said, "O Messenger of Allah, when we are in your company and are reminded of hell-fire and Jannah, we feel as if we are seeing them with our own eyes. But when we go away from you and attend to our wives, children, and business, much of these things go out of our minds." Thereupon, Messenger of Allah said, "By him in whose hand is my life, if your state of mind remains the same as it is in my presence, and you are always busy in remembrance of Allah, the angels will shake hands with you in your beds and in your roads. But Hanzala, time should be devoted to the worldly affairs, and time should be devoted to prayer." He, the Prophet, said this thrice. Muslim. Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with them, reported, while the Prophet was delivering khutbah, religious talk, he noticed a man who was standing. So he asked about him, and was told that he was Abu Israel, who had taken a vow to remain standing, and not sit, or go into the shade, or speak while observing fasting. Thereupon, Messenger of Allah said, "Tell him to speak, to go into the shade, to sit, and to complete his fast." Al-Bukhari. Chapter 15. Righteous Conduct on a Regular Basis. Umar bin al-Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, Messenger of Allah said, should anyone fall asleep at night and fail to recite his portion of the Quran, or a part of it, if he recites it between the Fajr prayer and the Zuha prayer, it will be recorded for him as though he had recited it during the night. Muslim. Abdullah bin Amr bin al-As, may Allah be pleased with them, reported, Messenger of Allah said to me, O Abdullah, do not be like so-and-so. He used to get up at night for optional prayer, but abandoned it later. Al-Bukhari and Muslim. Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, reported, when Messenger of Allah missed the optional night salat, tahajjud, due to pain or any other reason, he would perform 12 rak'ah during the daytime. Muslim. Chapter 16. Observing the Sunnah and the manners of its obedience. Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, the Prophet said, do not ask me unnecessarily about the details of the things which I do not mention to you. Verily, the people before you were doomed, because they were used to putting many questions to their prophets and had differences about their prophets. Refrain from what I forbid you, and do what I command you, to the best of your ability and capacity. Al-Bukhari and Muslim Irbad bin Sariya, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, one day, Messenger of Allah delivered us a very eloquent khutbah, on account of which eyes shed tears, and hearts were full of tears. A man said, O Prophet of Allah, this is as if it were a parting advice, so advise us. He said, I admonish you to fear Allah, to listen and obey, even if an Abyssinian slave is appointed as your leader. Because whosoever among you shall live after me will see much discord. So hold fast to my Sunnah and the examples of the rightly guided caliphs who will come after me. Adhere to them and hold to it fast. Beware of new things indeed, because every bid'ah is a misguidance. Abu Dawud and at-Tirmidhi, who categorized it as Hadith Hasan, Sahih. Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, Messenger of Allah said, every one of my ummah will enter Jannah, except those who refuse. He was asked, who will refuse? He said, whoever obeys me shall enter Jannah, and whosoever disobeys me refuses to enter Jannah. Al-Bukhari. Salama bin al-Aqwa, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, my father said that a person ate in the presence of Messenger of Allah with his left hand. He said, eat with your right hand. He said, I cannot do that. Thereupon he, the Prophet, said, may you never do that. It was pride that prevented him from doing it, and he could not raise it, the right hand, up to his mouth afterwards. Muslim. Nu'man bin Bashir, may Allah be pleased with them, reported, Messenger of Allah said, straighten your rows during salat, or Allah would create dissension amongst you. Al-Bukhari and Muslim. In another narration, reported by Muslim, Nu'man bin Bashir, may Allah be pleased with them, narrated, Messenger of Allah used to straighten our rows in salat, as if he was straightening an arrow with their help, until he saw that we had learnt it from him. One day he came out, stood up for salat, and was about to say, Allahu Akbar, Allah is the greatest, marking the beginning of the prayer, when he saw a man whose chest was bulging out from the row. He said, Slaves of Allah, you must straighten your rows, or Allah would create dissension amongst you. Abu Musa, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, a house in Al-Madinah caught fire at night, and the roof and walls fell down upon the occupants. When this was reported to Messenger of Allah, he said, Fire is your enemy, so put it out before you go to bed. Al-Bukhari and Muslim. Abu Musa, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, Messenger of Allah said, the similitude of guidance and knowledge with which Allah has sent me is like a rain which has fallen on some ground. A fertile part of earth has absorbed water and brought forth much grass and herbs. Another part, which is solid, held the water, and Allah benefits men thereby, who drank and gave others to drink and used it for irrigation. But some of it has fallen on a portion of sandy land, which neither retains the water nor produces herbage. Such is the likeness of the man who understands the religion of Allah and who gets benefit of what Allah has sent me with. He learns and teaches others. It is also the likeness of the man who neither raises his head on that account, meaning he does not benefit from what the Prophet was sent with, nor accepts Allah's guidance, with which I am sent. Al-Bukhari and Muslim. Jaber, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, Messenger of Allah said, my parable and that of yours is like a man who kindled a fire. When it has illuminated all around him, the moths and grasshoppers began to fall therein. He tried to push them away, but they overcame him and jumped into it. I am catching hold of your waist's ties to save you from fire, but you slip away from my hands. Muslim. Jaber, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, Messenger of Allah commanded the licking of fingers after eating and the cleaning of the dish, saying, you do not know in what portion the blessing of Allah lies. Muslim. In another narration, Jaber said, Messenger of Allah said, when a morsel of any of you falls down, you should pick it up and remove any dirt or dust on it, and then eat it, and don't leave it for Satan. And do not wipe your hand with the towel until you have licked your fingers, for you do not know in what portion of the food the barakah * of Allah lies. Barakah is the abundance of goodness and its continuity. Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, Messenger of Allah said, On the day of resurrection you will be assembled barefooted, naked, and uncircumcised. He then recited, as we began the first creation, we shall repeat it. It is a promise, binding upon us. Truly, we shall do it. And continued, the first to be clothed on the day of resurrection will be Prophet Ibrahim. Then some of my companions will be taken to the left, i.e., towards hellfire. And when I will say, they belong to my ummah, O my Rabb, it would be said, you do not know what they invented. After you had left them, I shall then say, as the righteous slave, i.e., Isa, Jesus, said, and I was a witness over them, while I was amongst them. When you took me up, you were the watcher over them, and you are a witness to all things. If you punish them, they are your slaves, and if you forgive them, verily, you, only you, are the Almighty, the All-Wise. I shall be told, they continued to turn on their heels since you parted from them. Al-Bukhari and Muslim. Abdullah bin Mughaffal, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, Messenger of Allah prohibited flicking pebbles by the index finger and the thumb, and he said, it does not kill a game animal, nor does it inflict wound on the enemy, but breaks the tooth and gorges the eye. Al-Bukhari and Muslim. Abiz bin Rabia, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, I saw Umar bin al-Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, kissing the black stone, al-Hajar al-Aswad, and saying, I know that you are just a stone, and that you can neither do any harm nor give benefit. Had I not seen Messenger of Allah kissing you, I would not have kissed you. Al-Bukhari and Muslim.